So we already know that the NBA is almost into the full swing of things, and for any of those who are watching the sport knows that the new collective bargaining agreement is upon us. So basically all the caps are going to go up and everybody's trying to take advantage. And some players have certainly taken advantage of that. One player who was looking to do that was Cleveland Cavaliers' own and Brampton, Ontario's own Tristan Thompson. Now, Tristan basically started off last season by being offered an extension, but the price that they were offering him wasn't to his liking. So he decided to hold out on the extension, and he wanted to use last season as a chance to prove himself. And he did in the right areas, basically. He's more of like a interior player. He basically plays inside the paint. He's more of an offensive, defensive, rebounding type of player, and that's the type of skill set that he brings to the Cavs. Now, he brought that skill set in a very large way when basically Kevin Love got injured, and he basically filled in for him in the starting lineup. So with his efforts, the Cavs management recognized that, and they decided to say, hey, we're going to offer you a 5-year deal worth $80 million. Now, the average common man, such as myself or anyone else for that matter, would look at that and say, $80 million over 5 years, so that's roughly $16 million per year. Yeah, sure, where do I sign? And we all thought that after July 1st, which was the date where you can start signing your contracts and what have you, he would sign it. But he didn't. So it turned into days, and then weeks, and then eventually months, and then we all started wondering what the hell is happening. So basically, what's happening is the fact that this guy and his agent, Rich Paul, who also just happens to be the agent of LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, Bonafide All-Stars, is basically saying to him and to the Cavs management, no, my client wants $94 million over the next 5 years. Now, here's the thing right here. With Thompson, you know, as hard-working as he is and what he does for the Cavs, his skill set is not worthy of $80 million. You know why? Because he averages 8 points a game and 8 rebounds a game, and most importantly, he's coming off of the bench. No GM in their right mind would ever sign a contract worth $80 million to have a player come off the bench. I mean, hell, Toronto has had some stupid GMs over the years. Ron Babcock, who traded Vince Carter away for nothing. I'm sure even he wouldn't have signed that contract. I'm just surprised at the fact that the Cavaliers even offer that contract since they're already paying LeBron James over $100 million. They're already paying Kevin Love $110 million. They just re-signed Iman Shumpert. They don't have a lot of money to give because at the end of the day, they're going to dip into their salary cap and go over the luxury tax. And so I think that it would have been much more strategic of Tristan Thompson to assign that $80 million extension, knowing the fact that he's probably going to be the only bench player to make $16 million annually. Now, they were saying how they were driving up the price mainly because they wanted to see if the Cavs would bite, so that other teams would probably take a look and see if they would play ball as well. There are rumors that Rich Paul wants Tristan Thompson to go back to play for the Toronto Raptors because it's going to be a lot more lucrative, and rightfully so because he is a Canadian product. He's going to get more endorsements coming in. That's not going to be happening in Cleveland. But the fact of the matter remains, a team will sign you or should sign you based on your resume, not on your potential. And you don't really have the potential to be a prolific, 20-point scorer and 10 rebound a game type of player if you're coming off of the bench. And I think Rich Paul especially, because he's a bit older than Tristan Thompson, I imagine, should have had much more business sense in that state of mind. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to believe the fact that a player who's coming off the bench should be making $80 million over the next 5 years. You have to be the reason that there are seats being filled in that arena, the reason that your team is going to the playoffs, and the reason and the fact that you're going to multiple All-Star appearances to get that kind of money. Jimmy Butler was in the exact same predicament as Tristan Thompson last season. He had to prove himself. This guy went from 13 points a game to 20 points a game, made the All-Star team, led his team all the way to the conference semifinals, and then eventually won the NBA's Most Improved Player award. That was deserving of a contract extension, and he got that in the form of $90 million, and he's a starting player. Tristan doesn't have that resume, which is why he shouldn't be asking for $94 million, because that's pretty egregious if you ask me. He should have just stuck to the $80 million, but he got a bit greedy. But what do you guys think? Hit me up on Twitter at DM_cool. Cool_radio. Let me know your thoughts on the matter at hand.